Hey you guys, it's Peter and welcome to Peter Likes Books. And I am really excited about this video today because I have been waiting for these books to come in the mail since I ordered them off of Amazon. One came like each day and I have one more to come, but it isn't really necessary for the story that I'm about to tell. So it's because it's a newer book that I just found. So I thought I'll just save that for the next haul that I do over here. When I first started BookTube, I did a lot of hauls. I would go to Half Price Books, I would go to Goodwill, I would go to Barnes & Noble. I was doing hauls all the time over here because I loved watching haul videos. Recently, I started buying more books because I've been reading more physical copy books. I'm still listening to a lot of audiobooks, but I love physical copy books as well, especially in the summer, to just like binge back a book. I used to not do that. If you go back and you watch my books, I was very careful with how I treated my books. I always used a bookmark. I never dog-eared my books. I never, turned them back. And years ago, my husband and I went to Mexico and I read Big Little Lies by Liam O'Riordan, and I was reading it next to the pool and I was bending it back and dog-earing it. It was getting splashed with water, and I can remember just seeing it sitting there in the hotel room, and it just looking at it all warped and water torn and bended back pages. It just looked so loved and it had traveled the journey with me. And so at that point, I still use bookmarks from my graphic novels and stuff like that because I don't like to bend back the pages of those. Sometimes I do, but not typically. So for graphic novels, I still use bookmarks, but ever since then, I just don't. I dog-ear books and I bend them back, and I'm always like this with a book and things like that because I love it. I love just to use a book, right? So, and I used to always say books are our friends, and so see, your opinion can change over time. So let me tell you, recently I've been buying a lot of books that I want to read this summer. So I've been down in my basement, and I have all these boxes of books to donate. We've donated a lot of the boxes of books already, getting rid of all these boxes of books. And so I'm keeping a very few amount of books. And so almost every book that I'm keeping is now in the bookshelves. There's probably about 20 books that are not on the bookshelf. And so I was thinking back about these two books that I remember specifically reading in the summertime. And one of them was a mystery, a murder mystery that took place in Indiana in the summertime. And I kind of felt like it was a true story, but I couldn't remember. And I thought the book was called The Brightening or something like that. And I would look up The Brightening, Indiana murder mystery, and nothing would come up, right? And then the other book was a book that I can remember getting from the library years ago. I must have been it was after I got sober, so I must have been in my 20s or something, but I remember getting it in the summer and reading it. And I can remember reading it on my patio late at night. And yeah, it was when I was with my first boyfriend and our roommate at the time, and I would sit on the patio and I would drink coffee after I got home, and we had worked out and whatever and gone swimming, and I would have my pajamas on, and I remember reading it out on that patio, and I remembered it was called something like A Murder in the Neighborhood or something like that, but I didn't remember any more than that. I remember it had the author's name had it was Barents or Bears with a EHRS or something like that, but that's all I could remember. So the other night I got on Google and I was I'm gonna find, because I looked through my basement, I swore I have these books maybe that I had bought them at some time, and so I was looking through the last 20 books because I've looked through every book that's in this house, every book I've gone through, every book I've decided whether I'm gonna keep or give away or donate and all that kind of stuff, right? So neither one of these books was in there. So I am going through Google, and this was the first time, I cannot tell you how many times I have specifically looked for these two books on Google, okay? I mean, I have done extensive research trying to find these books. And then I found another book that I wanted to buy. So I bought these 3 books. And I am so excited to share these with you because 2 of these books, one of them I don't know anything about, but I'm going to read it to you anyway because it sounds like a good summer read. But 2 of these books I have been looking for, honestly, probably for 20 years, and couldn't find them because I couldn't remember the titles of them. And the first one is called The Bright Forever, and it is by Lee Martin, okay? And this is the book that is about Indiana. And I'll never forget when I read this book. I mean, and I don't remember, I remember reading it, but I don't remember a lot of, what it was about, the details. And so I cannot wait to read it again. It says it's a Pulitzer Prize finalist for fiction. And, it says, part Mystic River, part Winesburg, Ohio. This harrowing and beautiful book is one of the most powerful novels I've ever read. Brett Lott, author of Jewel. So let me get in here and read you the synopsis of this because I'm so excited about reading this book. And it's not a long read either. It's like 284 pages, or this is the group reader guide. It's 275 pages, and the pages are rather short, like when you look at them. So, on an evening like any other, 9-year-old Katie Mackey, daughter of the most affluent family in a small town on the plains of Indiana, set out on her bicycle to return some library books. This simple act is at the heart of The Bright Forever, a suspenseful, deeply affecting novel about the choices people make that change their lives forever. Playing fact, speculation, and contradiction off of one another as the details unfold, author Lee Martin creates a fast-paced story that is as gripping as it is richly human. His beautiful, clear-eyed Spartan prose builds to an extremely nuanced portrayal of the complicated give and take among people struggling to maintain their humanity in the shadow of loss. Memorable for its perceptions and power, The Bright Forever is a compelling and emotional tale about the human need to know even the hardest truths. And I'm so excited about reading this. I want to see when it came out, because I don't remember. I mean, it's just rave reviews in here from all these different people. Okay, when did it come out? It came out in 2005. I would have guessed it came out sooner than that, because the other book I feel like came out closer to after when I got sober. So I'll be surprised if I find out that. But that could make sense because I probably got it at Borders or something like that. Do y'all remember Borders? I loved Borders so much. So anyway, that's the first book, The Bright Forever. I cannot wait to read this summer. So I got it on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon too if you want to, or Thrift Books probably has it and stuff like that. The next book that I got, and this is the one where I could remember the author's name. It was like Murder in the Neighborhood, and I knew the last name was like Barents or something like that. And it's actually Suzanne Byrne, and it's A Crime in the Neighborhood. And this is a used copy that I got off of Amazon. Let's see when it came out. This will be interesting. Okay, Crime in the Neighborhood. I remember the book that I got from the library was like a little hardback book. It was like, not little, but it was a smaller hardback book. And I can remember it had like this picture of this house on the cover of it. Maybe that's the cover that it was. But anyway, okay, let's see when this book came out. Oh, 1997. So that would be correct, actually, because I got sober in 1994. All right, so this is what A Crime in the Neighborhood is about. Nominated for the Los Angeles Times Book Prize and the Edgar Allan Poe Award, a New York Times Book Review notable book. A Crime in the Neighborhood centers on a headline event, the murder of a 12-year-old boy in Washington, D.C. suburb. The year of the murder, 1973. Marcia was 9 years old, and now as an adult, she still remembers the summer at a time when murder and her own family's upheaval were entwined. Everyone, it seemed to Marcia, was committing crimes. Her father had deserted her family. Her teenage brother and sister were shoplifting. Her mother was flirting with the new next-door neighbor, the neighbor next door. Even the President of the United States seemed to be a crook. But it was Marcia's suspicions about who committed the murder that got the town up in arms and revealed what happens when fear runs wild. Does that not sound so good? I'm so excited about it. Oh my God, I can't believe I found these books after all these years. This is like a quick read too, you guys. This is like a 200, where are we at? 270 some pages. Hold on a second here. 285 pages, and they're like short pages too. They're not like super, big pages. Okay, so when I was buying these books on Amazon, at the bottom where it'll say books recommended or readers bought these books as well, there were two books on there that I really, really thought sounded interesting. It sounded kind of like these. For those of you that don't know, a couple people have recommended them to me recently. Billy Lutz is one of my favorite authors of life, and she actually didn't start writing until I think she was like 55 or 60, and she's the one that wrote Home is Where the Heart Is, which they made into the movie about the girl that has the baby in the Walmart. But I've read like so many of her movies, or so many of her books, and I love her books. And so this book kind of reminded me a little bit of like a Billy Lutz book or a Fannie Flagg book, like, Fried Green Tomatoes, or the Whistle Stop Cafe, those kinds of things. And this is called Whistling Past the Graveyard, the acclaimed from the bestseller Susan Grandal. The cover is beautiful. You can see it's like a fair, and there's like a Ferris wheel in the corner. I love a good cover. Okay, powerful bestseller of the American South. With Whistling Past a Graveyard, that's what Daddy called it when you did something to keep your mind off your worstest fear. In the summer of 1963, 9-year-old Starla Claudel runs away from her strict grandmother's Mississippi home. Starla's destination is Nashville, where her mother went to become a famous singer, abandoning Starla when she was 3. I love the name Starla, by the way. Walking a lonely country road, Starla accepts a ride from Eula, a black woman traveling alone with a white baby. Now on the road trip that will change her life forever, Starla sees for the first time life as it really is, as she reaches for a dream of how it could one day be. Says SIBA's 2014 Book Award fiction winner. I'm so excited about reading this. So anyway, y'all can see I'm kind of like into the summer mystery thrillers of the summer. I'm into these that kind of like take place in the past. I think that's kind of like my new thing. So anyway, so yeah, so I hope that you enjoy this video. I have so many videos that I want to film over here, but I always get to them last. So I was going to get to this one first today, but I wanted to make sure that I got something up over here. I have a collection of books that I want to share with you guys. I was looking for one final book, and I finally found it that I have here in the house, and I finally found it, so I have the whole collection to present to you guys. I also have the July book coming. I have to finish the May book before I come out and do the May review. So I'm still reading the May book for Peter's Book Club, and then I will be doing the July announcements for the July books coming up sometime next week. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Recommend any books to me. I would love to hear your recommendations. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.